Hello all, this is Anupama Zawargi here and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I think year end is this year 2021 is just about to end, and I'm sure you're all eager to start 2022. And I think especially since the last 2 years, like the pandemic years 2020 and 2021, we just can't wait to start a new year with the hope that things might be different this year. So there is something that we need to do before we start our new year, before we start planning for a new year. And that is doing a personal annual review for the year 2021. So what happens is, generally, especially if you have had a stressful year, you just can't wait to start the new one. But we need to consider, what our successes, our misses, what our hits and misses have been for this year, so that we can take that feedback and actually plan the next year a lot better with all the learnings from this year. Because otherwise what happens is, if you directly move into the new year and start making all the new year resolutions, we sometimes tend to carry forward what has happened in this year into the other one. So we need to do an annual review, see what went well, what didn't go right, and just take those learnings, because those learnings are very important, especially in terms of personal development. When you're trying to improve yourself, when you're trying to be a new you, these learnings are going to be really important. So today I'm going to share with you some questions that you can use to actually do this review. A lot of I know most of who are working, there is an annual review in the companies, but we never tend to do a self-review, annual self-review for our personal lives. So that's what we are going to do today. And there is actually a principle, psychological principle, that is known as the peak and end rule. So what does this principle say? That says that we tend to remember some event based on what happens at the peak and what happens at the end of that event. So, if you do this kind of a review, it actually can help you rewrite your memory of 2021, which has been a pretty stressful year for almost everyone. I think nobody has been left untouched because of this year. So this actually helps with that also. You can actually change your memory of the year too with this exercise. So let's start. So the first thing is, I think this exercise works best if you actually write down the answers to the questions. So you need to either take a journal or some kind of a diary and actually take a paper and a pen and write the answers to these questions. And actually you can keep those keep that with you over the years, and you can reflect on that. It will be fun to see how what happened at the end of every year. So you can keep that as a journal kind of a thing for every year. So just do it with a pen and paper. Now the first question. The first question that you are going to do is list the successes for this year. So then that you can list like 5 to 10 successes. What happens is, when you're listing your successes, or seeing what you have accomplished this year, that actually builds your self-confidence. So even when things are not working well, things are not going great around you, so much of uncertainty, you still manage to have these successes. So that really boosts your morale and also your self-confidence. I think the first thing, actually, the thing that you need to start with before you do all this is, just first thing is the gratitude thing that we all need to do this year. We are alive. We came out alive in this new year. So that is the first thing that is the most important success that we have had this year. Because as they say in Hindi, jaan hai to jahan hai. So we survived 2021. So you can list that as a big success. And then, just list some 5 to 10 successes that you can think of for the year. And you can include successes in all different areas of your life. So it can be, personal, your career, your finances, your relationships, your personal development stuff, health and fitness, whatever you can think of in these areas, you can list them as your successes, and just make a list of all those things. And this is the first question, what your successes were. The second one is what your failures were, what were your mistakes. So here, you need to focus on, what happened, again, a few failures in different areas, what you had planned and you were not able to achieve, that kind of stuff. And these are your personal things, okay, not what everybody else expected you to do, and nothing like that. This is your personal journey, your personal diary kind of a thing. So you don't have to consider other people's opinions or other people's expectations when you do this. And one thing what happens is, when we are on this journey to go from here to where you are to where you want to be. So I'll just give you an example. Let's say my income is like 2 lakhs a month, and 2 lakhs maybe a year, and I wanted it to be 10 lakhs. Okay, so but I worked really hard and in the year, but I could only reach, let's say, 8 lakhs. So is that a success or a failure? So here, what you need to do is you need to compare your level to from where you started, not where you wanted to be. So if you are constantly thinking of, oh, I didn't reach 10 lakhs, so this is a failure. That is not true. You need to compare it from like 2 to 8 lakhs, that jump that you have taken. So this is how you need to list all these things, because sometimes, we make all these goals, and then if you're not able to achieve them, it's not a 1-0 kind of a binary kind of a thing. It's anyway, all these things are gradual. You're not going to do things overnight. So even though the goal, you may not have achieved that exact, maybe it's a weight goal or anything like that exact number. But as long as you have made progress from where you were, where you have improved, that you still need to consider that as a success. So it's not a zero-sum game, So that this is very important when you're listing those. So when you're listing your failures, I think you need to also pay attention, because the third thing is, what are your learnings from these two, success question and the failure one. Because a lot of times, sometimes you decide that you want to do those things, but the circumstances change. Sometimes our priorities change. And last year, a lot of people were down with COVID. They got infected with coronavirus, or they had to take care of people who were in hospitals. All kinds of stuff was going around us, So a lot of businesses were down. People who were into the entertainment industry, or some other industry, tourism industry, they had to take a big hit last year. So these kind of things you need to also consider when you are making your list. So sometimes were they because of something that you could not do, or you were just it was just a part of everybody was going through all these unusual circumstances, and there was nothing you could do about it. So when you're listing your failure, that doesn't become your failure, because we had so many night curfews, so many things were closed during the pandemic. So even though you had decided, maybe it was not possible for you to do those. So you need to just list all those and have this kind of a view when you are thinking of the learnings. Because sometimes sometimes we have young kids, so even though we want to take care of ourselves more and we have other health goals, we really need to give more attention to the baby baby that you have at home. So and even during the pandemic, daycare facilities were not available, so kids needed a lot of attention, online schooling, so many things going on simultaneously. So here, you need to be when you're looking at the learnings, you need to consider all these aspects. Was it your fault? Was it because of something that you had no control over? Could you have done something differently? So these are all the learnings. Or was the goal too high? Sometimes we have these really high goals, and then we feel bad that we haven't achieved it. So were you realistic when you set that goal? So these are the things that you need to focus on when you do this review. Now, another couple of questions that you might do is, one could be, what would you have done if you had more time? Because a lot of things we have our goals, but we are not able to achieve them because we didn't get the time to finish those or achieve those. So let's make a list of things that you could have done if you had more time. So that is another question. And one question could be that what were the things that you were not able to do, and you don't miss doing, you didn't miss those. What were the things you got rid of from your life, and now you don't miss those things? Because what happens is, a lot of especially last year, we all had to cut down on our socializing and stuff like that. But that gave us more time to be with ourselves, to to have some to read more, to spend more time with our families, that kind of thing. So if at the end of the year you feel that, oh, you don't really miss that socializing, because you now have realized that your priorities are different and you feel more comfortable being with yourself. So these kind of learnings also you need to consider when you're doing this review, because all these answers are going to help you to plan your 2022 better. Because this is the feedback. So next time, this year, coming year, when you make your new year resolutions, when you set your goals, so these learnings are what is going to help you with making 2022 a great year for you, because these are all your personal learnings. And so this, you don't have to do this in one go, but definitely you need to do this before the end of the year, because once the new year starts, you will never get around to doing it. So it's always best to do it in the last 2-3 days of the old year. So just make sure you have something on paper before you start the new year. Very, very important. And you will actually enjoy the process once you start actually listing those, and your confidence will go up. You will know what your accomplishments for the last year were. So you will start the new year on a higher note when you list all the successes, because we generally tend to put ourselves down so much that we didn't achieve this, we didn't. So when you start listing those successes, it really feels good, and it gives us hope, and gives a positive outlook to our new year when you start in 2022. Another thing that you can do is think of the things that you have. If you have any unfinished projects that you can finish in a couple of hours, just take the time to finish those, get them off your to-do list, so that you can start the new year with a clean slate. I've done a video on clean up your messes and incompletes, and the reasons why you need to do that. So this is a great time to finish any unfinished business if you have, that is not going to take that much time. Because a lot of times we spend so much time thinking and carrying that load in our minds, that it is actually easier to just go out and do those things, and just strike them off your list. So that's another thing that you can do before 2022 starts, which will really help you starting the new year on the right note. So if you like the video, please press the like button, share it with somebody who could use this information, subscribe to the channel, and next time we are going to do a new way of setting your new year resolutions. So I hope you have watched the 30-day trial tool that I shared last week, and you have already started thinking of what you're going to do as a 30-day experiment in Jan. So that's another homework that you need to do, and I'll see you in the next video. And so thank you for watching. See you next time.